Well, the Oliver community, which is about an 8-block community, was really a community that benefited from folk moving from southern states, coming to Baltimore in the late 30s, early 40s, looking for jobs in the industrial sector. And so this community began to change over to become predominantly African American in that time. And we had a very diverse base of people who were not only factory workers, but teachers and lawyers and doctors and dentists and all living here in this community. Things really began to change, some for good, some for bad. Good in that people became more upwardly mobile, were able to move out of this area, and that's like in the early 70s. But then in the mid-80s, the community was just besieged by drug infestation, which has affected a lot of urban areas up and down the East Coast. And so the community started going down because many of the people who were the pillars of the community, you know, they were able to move out, they did. And so the economics in the community changed significantly. We had changed over from homeowners to renters. And then in the 90s, we began to see a significant amount of vacancies, and depending on who you ask in Baltimore City, around that time there's anywhere from 25 to 40,000 vacancies around the city, and so a third of the population moved out of the city, and typically the poorest communities were the ones that were significantly changed by that.
We became associated with TRF back in the 1990s. At that time, we were looking at doing a blight removal campaign here in Baltimore. TRF approached us with a new concept of building from strength, and that seemed to mesh with where we were going in our blight removal campaign. And we decided to launch it in the Oliver community as a form of also blight removal and crime prevention.
I'm a general contractor here in Baltimore. I met TRF now probably about 5 months ago. I've done, at this point, maybe about 20 rehabs in the last couple of years in East Baltimore. I see a lot of developers start projects, but they don't complete them. So that's what's special about these, that they are carrying them all the way through to the end and getting them occupied at a fast rate. All these houses are very unique, very nice houses. This one's made for a small business owner. They just put a lot of high-end finishes. You have recessed lighting. All the homes are all green. Just all the nice stuff, top-of-the-line stuff is going to this property. So to see them come back is my joy. I like to see construction, see these houses being built.
What makes this project different is that it was the vision of this church and other churches, and we actually sought out entities like TRF to help us to see the broader perspective of how we could best change the shape of this community. And we actually sit at the table with TRF, you know, on a quarterly basis. We're looking at, you know, do we need to do anything differently? How are we going to be able to keep the project moving? How we get community members involved? As a matter of fact, we had an overflow crowd talking about the agenda of things that we wanted, how the development was going to take place.
In this effort, we're attempting to build a community and not just new housing. And what that has done is it's become a catalytic influence in the community to bring in new families and to encourage the families who've chosen to stay here throughout the duration of the blight.